Computer. All right, so good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Money Mantra. You guys signed up for the personal mentorship, so that's what we're going to be getting into today. On Sundays, you know that we go over Forex, and on Tuesdays we either continue the Forex training or we do HFX. But I always let you guys decide what we're going to do. But of course, I do have something planned for HFX just because I really want you guys to get the best of both worlds to really figure out which trading style is your favorite trading style, and which trading style works best for you. And not saying that you can't do both because you definitely can do both, but just being able to distinguish like the difference between both of the different trading styles and finding a strategy that works for both. Honestly, I teach you guys a bunch of different indicators and a bunch of different strategies, but it all comes down to simplicity. Um, the simpler that you can do something to understand it, the better. That's how I teach. And that's how I want you guys to understand. So you guys can just drop in the chat if y'all want to continue talking about Forex, which will hold our trades for a little bit longer than 1 to 5 minutes. Or do you guys want to focus on HFX, which is high frequency trading? It's also called binary options trading or just options trading. Just let me know and then we'll go ahead and get started. And I'll turn off my camera as well. You guys can have your camera on if you like. It's definitely not mandatory. All right, we got one HFX from Raquel. All right, 2 HFX. So majority wins. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Per usual, if I ever start breaking up at any point, you guys can just drop some fours in the chat. Then once the chat comes back to normal, you can drop some eights in the chat when you can hear me. If you understand and you're ready to get started, go ahead and drop some threes in the chat. It's okay. It's okay. I can see your message now. All right. All right. So if you guys do have any questions, again, feel free to unmute yourself, or you can just ask me a question in the chat and I'll respond to it as soon as I see it. Let me make sure the chat is in the front. The waiting room is off so everybody can come in. Let me hide these things. All right. So first and foremost, we're going to be talking about money in minutes. I know that you guys are familiar with money in minutes, and this is actually my favorite style of trading. This is the first style of trading that I learned to do. This is the first style of trading where I was profitable, and I really am sticking to Forex more so now so that I could continue to work on increasing my funded accounts and showing you guys how to become funded as well. I've never seen a platform that funds people for options trading, but once you get the capital from your Forex account, whether that be a 5K account or $1 million account, you can use that money to put in HFX, and we know how quick the profits can be. Or if you are not familiar with HFX or you've never done HFX, you can enter the trades for as little as 1 minute, which is amazing. If you've ever made money from HFX, just drop some sevens in the chat. Because I know people have traded HFX, but they haven't really made money or withdrawn. And we just want to get you guys to the point of consistency. We want to get you guys to the point of withdrawing. We want to get you guys to the point of compounding your money and really taking more wins than losses when it comes to this. Because if you can understand, it's always going to come back down to market structure, guys. If you can understand market structure, you can understand support, resistance, supply and demand, liquidity, then you have a higher chance at clearing your trades. And I feel like I was a great HFX trader, but even doubling down on Forex has made me an even better trader with even more accurate entries. And it's like, how is that possible? And it's because the timing is better. I'm making less mistakes. I'm being less impulsive. I'm experiencing less confusion because I'm not a perfect trader. I've made a lot of mistakes that we've all made with just impulsiveness and everything you could think of. Any trading mistake you've made, I've made. But I've gotten better over time. So the website we're going to be using is pocketoption.com. Pocket Option is a trading platform that you can not only analyze the trades, but you can live trade on this platform as well. unlike TradingView and MetaTrader 4, where you're analyzing on TradingView and then taking your trades on MetaTrader 4, you can actually do everything within this platform, which is why I really like it. It's very direct, it's straightforward, it's user friendly, and it's actually the best social trading platform, which just means that this is like a social media site for traders. There are so many different features and things that you can dive into on this website. And I believe I went over a lot of them last week. So I'm just going to do a quick review before we start talking about market structure, because there's always going to be somebody who joins the class later down the line who was not here and they just need that review. So first and foremost, we're going to go over just these buttons really quickly. We're going to go over how to buy and sell, what your risk amounts are, how to choose your asset, and then we're going to talk about market structure. So with all of these buttons, and again, if you need a more in-depth review for Pocket Option, you can watch the video from last week, which I believe is called Pocket Option In-Depth or Pocket Option Review. So in this side panel right here, you have the option to, anything you click on this side is going to display right here. So I like to have my trade screen open just so that I can see my active trades once I am in the trade. So I don't want you guys to click any buttons right now, but let's just say if I got into this trade, let's just say if I decided to open a trade, any trades that I have that are currently open will pop up in the right pane. If you haven't used Pocket Option for a while or you haven't been active on there, you're going to notice that they've added two features that we've been asking them to add for a really long time, which is double up and rollover. So double up means you're literally going to enter the trade with the same risk that you got into the trade for the first time. So in this trade, we can see that my trade amount was $100. I entered $100, and that was automatically deducted from my balance of $46,233. And if I click double up, you're going to notice that my balance actually goes down by another $100, and I'm going to have the same amount of time left in the second trade that I also have in the first trade. Now we can see over here, both of these trades look like they're going to go in our favor, right? So double up can be a really great feature. And the one thing I really like about double up is you can actually choose to double up until the trade has 5 seconds left. So if you see that the trade is really in your favor and it has a lot of volume, right, and it has a lot of momentum, which is something we talked about yesterday, you'll maybe want to double up on that trade, but it's not a requirement. You don't have to do that, but it's nice to know that you can make a little bit more money with a little bit of time. Now I'm just going to click, again, this trade for no rhyme or reason at all. We see that my balance was increased because not only did I get the money back that I put into the trade, but I also made 80% of the profit. Now you're going to know what your payout is going to be from the trade, and you'll know exactly what your profit is before you even click the button. And I just like to say, make sure your payout is over 70% just to make sure that you're getting your money's worth. Now rollover, I'm going to click it. Rollover is going to just buy me more time in the trade. So initially I was in this trade for 1 minute. I'm going to have to click it again. So when I click rollover, this little screen is going to pop up. Rollover is telling me that I'm buying myself more time in the trade. So initially, I put $100 into the trade, but once I click rollover, it's letting me know that I'll now be putting an extra $100 in the trade, and I'll go from having this much time left to this much time left. And then, of course, they give you the option to confirm. And then once you do that, you can see the trade time has extended from 30 seconds, and it added that extra time there. So this can really come in handy if you see that you've entered a trade and it's experiencing a little bit of pullback. Because remember, the market is always going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. You may just need an extra 30 seconds in a trade. Depending on what your initial trade time was, it may give you an extra 3 minutes in the trade, but sometimes that can really work in your favor. And I just know when I was first trading HFX, there were other brokers that pretty much had rollover, and a lot of people used to talk bad about Pocket Option simply because it didn't have that option. But I'm like, what do you guys got to say now? It's a really great feature. So I always keep that screen open. Again, you can close it if you want, or if it disappears one day and you don't know how to get it back, just click there. The second feature over here is called signals. So signals are essentially what other people are doing. Now, once you click signals, it'll tell you how long ago the signal was entered and how many times that trade has been copied. Now, I don't recommend using this, but you can play around with it. So let's just say if we wanted to take this trade, it was copied, or you can take the trade that's been copied the most times. So this trade was copied 190 times, and that was about 8 minutes ago. If we're trading on a 1 minute time frame, guys, that may be invalid, right? If you are going to use this feature or test it out, you would want to go with a more recent trade. So let's just say, for example, well, that's also a 10-minute trade. So look at the information before you actually use this if you're going to use it. Maybe you don't want to stay in your trade for 10 minutes. Maybe you want something a little quicker, right? And you'll see it's consistently updating. So let's just copy the shortest one. As soon as you click copy signal, what it's actually going to do is put you into a trade exactly where all of those other people got into a trade, and you're going to be entered into that trade with the same amount of time that they have from the original trade idea. Now, just like when somebody else is calling your trades out, this isn't always going to be 100% accurate, but if it works in your favor, cool. If it doesn't, don't get mad, because you could have always just did a quick analysis and entered your own trade. So if you guys understand how to view your trade screen and how to use signals, if that's something that you want to use, you have the option. Just drop some sevens in the chat. And I'm going to move over to tournaments and pending trades, right? All right, so tournaments are really cool. I always say once you become more active on Pocket Option, once you have more capital that you're not just playing around with, once you move out of your demo account, tournaments and using the marketplace on Pocket Option are going to be really helpful and really beneficial. Pocket Option has daily tournaments where it'll be free to participate, for example, and the prize fund may be $250. And it'll tell you how long you have to join that tournament. So if you are confident in your trading and you want to make some extra money, I highly encourage you to explore the types of tournaments that are happening, and then also to use sometimes the prizes for the tournaments are gems and rubies, right? In your experience points. So in the marketplace, and I'm just showing you guys this because, again, Pocket Option is a social trading platform, right? So there's so many more things to do besides trade, and all of these things can help you. So as you can see, because this is a demo account, I haven't made any purchases. I haven't even verified the email on this account. I just use it for teaching, but you'll get red rubies, blue rubies, green gems, and purple gems as you do basic things on Pocket Option. So some achievements you can make, for example, will be like open the trade for $5. Another one may be cleared 3 trades in a row. So it's just small things, and then you'll collect these. You can use these to shop in the marketplace, and they may give you, it'll tell you how much things cost. So for 14 red rubies, 6 blue rubies, and 2 blue rubies, you can get a bonus of up to $500 and stuff like that. My favorite things to buy in the marketplace are the cashback opportunities, right? Because cashback allows you to recoup some of the money on your losses at the end of the month. So let's just say if you trading and then you lost $100 for the entire month, at the end of the month, Pocket Option will actually reimburse you up to 10% of your losses if you purchase that with your rubies through the marketplace. Now, this isn't the correct screen, but you can see all the different categories where you can use your gems and rubies to buy down here. So for example, you may need an extra $10 because your balance is low, right? Or you want to enter a higher trade. You may pay 15 rubies, they'll give you $10. Pay 30 rubies, they'll give you $25. Risk-free trading. This allows you to cancel specific losses. So for example, if you're trading with a higher account, and let's just say the market was 1 point from your entry, you can use your gems to get your $100 back and to cancel that lost trade as if it never happened. Cashback is what I was talking about here. So for this one, maximum payout $100. That's getting 2% of your account back. This one gets you 3% of your account back, 4%, and so on. You have these boosters, and it's just a bunch of different things that you guys would just have to go and explore and look at. But it is really fun. And it just makes trading fun because no matter what you do, honestly, you're going to end up getting some type of experience points or bonuses for that. So if that makes sense, right, and you guys understand tournaments and how you can make extra money or use your trading experience to get extra things and more out of your experience, again, just drop some sevens in the chat. All right, perfect. Again, the more you trade, the more fun it will be. And I think that's really what they focus is to try to make it fun. Now, the most important things that we are about to discuss right now are your time limits. How long are you going to be into the trade, which is right here. So you can either do it by this. I don't really trade by this. I trade by this so that I can know exactly how long. How do you access the marketplace from the app? You probably have to click the 3 lines. It's probably going to either be in the top left or it may be one of the icons at the bottom. I always forget because I typically go to pocketoption.com on my phone just because it looks more like the web interface. But if you click the 3 lines, it should be able to be accessed on the left panel. So let me know if you see that. Because if you've been using your same pocket option account since you started trading, I'm pretty sure you do have some gems and things that you probably haven't used, and you could redeem some stuff because I don't think that it expires. All right, so when you're trading pocket option, one of the biggest attractions and why people like it is because you can be into this trade for, they've actually updated this section as well, and you can be in your trade for as short as 5 seconds, right? So if you are a sniper, right, I wouldn't recommend this, but when you are a sniper and your trades are just A1, imagine entering $1,000 into a trade and getting a return of $1,800 in 5 seconds just because your entry point was precise. Now, again, I don't recommend this, but if you're going to do this type of turbo trading, I will only do it when you know that there's going to be a reversal in the market so that once the market pushes up for that 5 seconds, you will be in the clear. Now, I'm just going to put it on 5 seconds just so that we can see. And if I click the buy button, right, again, it's only putting me into that trade for 5 seconds. And it looks like, let's see, this trade cleared. And that was an easy $62 profit in 5 seconds. Now, again, you don't have to do that. The lowest time I would recommend would be at least 1 minute. I know in the past, a lot of people weren't really comfortable trading 1 minute, but whatever floats your boat, you can stay into this trade for 4 hours if you want to. Or you can do your chart markups and you could set a pending trade and you would just stay in that trade for a long time because after 4 hours, if the market hasn't made that move, I don't know. That's just a little weird. So we just gonna stick on 1 minute for today. If you don't feel comfortable, you can put your trades on 3 minutes or 5 minutes just to give it a little bit more time to develop. Right. So we're gonna use M1. Your trade amount, they also have added an update to how you can enter your trade amount. So you can enter your trade amount by the dollar amount. Hold on, I think my thing froze. My screen froze, guys. If I'm breaking up, y'all drop 444. But if I'm okay, drop 888. Cause I think I'm breaking up. All right, I got 1888. Okay, so we're good. This thing is just going slow. All right, 1 second, y'all. I really need to disconnect some of these devices, but we're just gonna let this load. Give it 1 second. I don't know. The internet always gonna act crazy when I'm trying to teach a class, and I don't know why Pocket Option is doing all this. All right, again, you can change your trade amount by using the dollar amount, or you can change it to a percentage. And you would just do that by clicking on the dollar sign. So for example, I could be into this trade for $100. Let's just say I got into this trade for a sell. I know that I'm risking $100. Or if I click on the dollar sign, it'll give me a percentage. So let's just say once you figure out what your trading plan is, once you figure out what your edge is, you can say, okay, I only want to risk 5% in each trade, or you may not want to risk more than 20% a day. So if you put 22% here and that's $100, you know that in each trade you'll be putting a minimum of $20 if your total risk for the day was 22%. Or if I put just 2%, it's going to let me know that 2% of my current balance is $929.98. So whatever percentage you put here is going to tell you that's what the risk is. Now let's just say I get into this trade, right, with my 2% risk and the total is 929, right? It'll automatically update with what the next 2% risk is based on my new balance. So if my balance goes up, if my balance goes up, of course, my trade amount percentage-wise will go up, and if it goes down, it'll be the same thing, vice versa. Again, you can only do two things on Pocket Option. You can buy or you can sell, and this is all going to be based on a very quick analysis that you can do, right? You don't have to do your analysis fast, but essentially everything's happening fast. You're analyzing the market on such a short time frame that anything could happen in that short amount of time. So you just want to be sure. Now, so far, you guys can see that I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've taken 7 trades so far, and 6 of them have cleared. And we're looking at this last trade. Let's see if we double up in the last 2 seconds, right? And then we make that double the money, right? Using the double up at the last 2 seconds. Now, that's amazing, right? And I didn't use any rhyme or reason when I was entering these trades. So do you need a lot of skill to make money from HFX? No, you don't, right? I literally was just talking, clicking buttons, using examples, and the market just happened to go in my favor. So when you guys do start trading more, I don't want you to stress about this because you can either be right or you can be wrong. 50% of the time, it's always going to be one or the other. And I have to remind you that you're not going to be right 100% of the time, but you can't get mad at the market. All you can do is try to control your anger, clean up your entries, and find better opportunities to trade. So yeah, all this profit was made by basically no analysis. But when you get into the analysis, you'll be able to see why the market is doing a certain thing, and it'll help you to feel more confident, right? So we're gonna do it the same way we did on Forex. And first, we're gonna notice the market structure, right? We're gonna notice. Well, first, let's choose a pair. Now on Pocket Option, you do have all of these different assets that you can trade: currencies, cryptocurrencies, commodities, stocks, indices. And you'll also notice that Pocket Option has made every pair OTC all the time. So you now can trade OTC 24 hours a day, not just when the market is offline. Now, again, this isn't really a problem if you're not using another scanner to verify your trades. For example, when we were learning before, we would use the Liberty scanner, and trying to use the Liberty scanner and then trade OTC, it just wasn't going to work because the prices just were not the same. So I do like the fact that you can trade OTC 24/7 because it does give you the opportunity to make more money. As you can see, OTC payouts are always above 90% for the most part, but you also can trade the regular currencies as well too. So right now we see that the currency pairs are actually paying out pretty low, 35%, 40%, Euro USD 51%. And again, we want to stay over 70. So you can choose a safe pair, right, that has at least 70% payout that's not OTC, or you can just simply choose your favorite pair in OTC mood, right, Euro USD. Because what you'll notice now is that the price difference is a little bit more normal than what it was before, because before it would just be completely different from what the market actually was. Now I believe it's about 100 points off, which isn't terrible. So yeah, let me delete this line. All right, so when it comes to, we're going to be using Euro USD. So once you guys get to Euro USD. Or if you're following along so far, just drop EU in the chat. Because this is not going to be a long lesson, guys, and it's not going to be a hard lesson either. After a while, I would just start repeating myself. Okay, thank you, Raquel. Kayla and James, let me know if you guys are on EU or if you're following along. All right, perfect. Okay, perfect. So again, we're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at the market structure of this. You choose your currency pair. The next thing you want to do is how often are your candles forming? Now, just because you're taking a 1-minute trade, that doesn't mean that you're going to want to look at 1-minute candles, because that's just too much information to process at once. So we'll put it on 3-minute candles so things are moving along, or you can put it on 5-minute candles, wherever you feel more comfortable. And the first thing you want to do is really look at the market structure. Right now, you can check this, even though we're trading on such a small time frame. You sometimes, it's called confluence, right? And you want to get top down confluence. That means that is the trend the same from the highest time frame to the smallest time frame. Confluence just means consistency in the market. So let's just say I looked at this on M15, right, to establish some type of trend for the last, if these are 15-minute candles, I can see that this market was going up, and then it was going down, and then it was going up. So in 15 minutes, I would say it was consolidating. In the last 5 minutes, I will also say it was going up, it came down, and now it looked like it may be coming down again. So consolidation. And go back to the 3-minute candles, right? So we don't really have a strong trend right now, but that's okay. As long as we can identify, remember from yesterday, as long as we can identify what the market structure is, what are the highs, right? What are the lows? So we can currently see right now, if we were to look at what's currently happening in the market, we'll see that we had some lows, right? We see that the market started to form higher highs, right? Then we'll see what happened here, right? The market formed a high, it formed a higher high, but these two highs are actually, it's slightly higher, but these are a little bit equal. So when you see stuff like this, whether it's 2 wicks, whether it's 3 wicks, once you start getting to equal highs, that's just kind of giving you a signal that the market is going to turn around for a sell or for a buy. So up here, we have equal highs. That's saying, okay, this market may sell. And let's just look right here. We had equal lows telling us that the market was going to buy. So when you're looking to get into an HFX trade, I really don't want you guys to confuse yourself. The first thing that you should always be looking for is, am I noticing any liquidity, right? Am I noticing any obvious levels of resistance to this level? Am I noticing any obvious levels of support, right? So again, let's look right here. We had an obvious uptrend, right? We had 2 equal highs, right? We had a red candle form, and then hence the market sold. So if we were to get into sales based on this pattern over here, if we were to get into sales based on this pattern over here, we could have cleared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, right? And if you're using $10 per trade, that's a quick $70 in 7 minutes. And that's not bad at all, right? So right here, we can see that the market is forming equal highs. So we can potentially sell at around, once the market gets to 111, because with HFX, we're only using the last 3 numbers, that could be a potential sell, right? That could be a potential sell. So if you are going to take that trade idea, once the market gets to 1.070011, you could potentially sell, right? Simply because we have those equal highs there. Once the market breaks past it a little bit, it may come back down. So let's just see what happens, right? Once it goes above 111, right? Oh dang, I ain't clicked the button. Where did it put me in at though? All right, so I got in at 106, which is a little bit high. I really wanted to get in at 111, but I can also see that the market is coming down. If it does go a little bit higher than one with my entry, I won't be mad because I got in a little low. But we can see that this market is dropping. So if you guys actually took this trade, just drop a 777 in the chat, or if you can see why this trade is selling and you understand why we went for a sell in this case, also drop a 777 in the chat, right? Right. So it's pretty easy to see. Once we understand market structure, right, and we see that this market has been going up, we see that this market is finding some resistance, we say, okay, this is a safe place to sell. And again, this trade has 3 seconds left and it looks like it's going to be a clear. So no matter how much you risk in that trade, it's still clear below 111. Now, the thing I like about HFX is all it takes is 1 point for you to be in profit. And I think I mentioned this before, but the marketplace does have something you can buy where if your trade is wrong within 1 point, they'll still reimburse you your money. That's something you can purchase. So what do we see happening here? We see that the market is now maybe having a hard time pushing past this point, right? And that number is 0.26. So what you can make a mental note of, you can say, okay, I see the market is forming equal lows right here. I know that once the market either gets to 111, I have the opportunity to sell, right? And then you know that if it goes past 111, it's going to be going back to the previous high at 156, right? So let's just say you got in for 111 and then the market shot up. Don't worry, because you know that the next entry point is going to be at your previous high, right? And the reason why we could potentially be buying right here is because we're seeing this demand, right? We're seeing that price wants to actually continue this upward pattern, right? So I'm going to wait a few seconds and I want to see what happens in this trade because you don't want to keep moving all over the market. We see that we have some nice consolidation forming here, and consolidation is really beneficial to HFX because you can literally keep trading off the same zone over and over again until you reach your goal for the day or until that market breaks structure, because a break of structure tells us that the market is changing trends. Now, if you want to mark these areas up without having to remember them, because if you like me, I'm forgetful, you can just click the paintbrush, click on the horizontal line, right? And you want to add 2 of them. We're going to put 1 at the top, right? And this time we're going to use the wicks. Before I said you could use the candle bodies or the wicks, but just to manage our risk a little bit more, let's only focus on those highest highs, right? Because the candle top for a sell is just going to tell you the opening price, but that wick is going to tell you the highest high. And I'd rather you take your chances and wait a few seconds for it to reach the highest high than to get in at the candle body and then to lose by 3 or 4 points, because that's actually whack, right? So I'm going to just change this, make this black, make it a little bit thicker. And you can do that by clicking this rolly thing, changing the color, clicking the gear, changing the pixel size, right? I just put it on 3. That's good enough for me to see. And we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to change it to black. And I'm going to change this to 3. Excuse me. Yes. Kayla, I got your message, and yes. So if you guys have any questions so far, just go ahead and drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. But right now, we're just waiting for the market to either hit 113 or higher. You're welcome for a potential sell, or 0.27 or lower for a potential buy. And we can see that simply because it's consolidating in this area. All you have to do is wait for the market to cross your bottom line on the downside for a buy, or to cross your top line for a sell. Now this, y'all, is just trading simply off of market structure, but you can add indicators to, of course, confirm what it is that you're seeing and whether you should be focused on the buy or the sell, right? So right now it's just a waiting game. We could go to another pair, but remember, you don't want to really jump all over the market. So we see that the market is approaching our entry point for a potential buy, right? I said anything lower than 0.26. I just missed it. All right, there we go. So let's see, is the market going to go up or is it going to continue to buy? But it may now be selling, guys, because look what happened. The market actually broke structure. It actually broke structure. So we could be going for a sell. We should have went for a sell, but let's see what happens in this very, very, very quick buy, right? Or if you're going to go for a sell, go for a longer sell, right? If I was to get in for a 3-minute sell, right, and I'll just demonstrate here, I'll get in for a 3-minute sell. Simply because the market broke structure, right? If I don't clear the buy, I'm perfectly fine with that. And again, this is why you're analyzing so much in a short period of time. Yes, the market hit our support zone, but the market also broke structure. So we have a 1-minute buy going on, which is a quick 1-2 in and out. We have about 5 seconds left in that trade, and it looks like the trade is going to clear. So if you entered that trade and you cleared that trade for the buy, just drop some 7s in the chat. And we're also just going to see how the sell plays out because we did have that break of structure. Okay, you use double up also. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The feature really comes in handy. So now we still have 2 minutes left in this trade. I would say I still believe that it is going to sell. However, we did have a valid entry for a buy. So yeah, not that bad. Not that bad. So another thing that you can do, which is similar to what we were talking about on Monday. Oh, it says I'm breaking up. If I'm breaking up, drop 444. If I'm good, drop 8. All right. Thank you, Raquel. All right, James, you okay? You following? And as we can see, did you guys take the sell trade idea as well, or did you only get in for the buy? Right, only the buy. But we can see that the sell is in profit. And do you understand why the sell is in profit? Based on what we talked about yesterday. Oh, you weren't here yesterday. And I didn't send out the video yet, but pretty much, James, you should remember that if the market is consolidating, I'll just go over it again. If the market is consolidating within a certain zone, right? Hold on, where's this pencil? If the market is consolidating within a certain zone, sorry, I don't know why the pencil's not working. If it's consolidating and then it breaks, consolidating just means it's staying in between two lines. So let's just say it's staying in between two lines. And then if you see that the market breaks structure on the downside, right? If you see that it breaks structure on the downside, that means that it's going to continue to sell. And if it breaks structure on the upside, which means that it gets higher than the last highest high, that means that it's going to buy. So that sell trade didn't clear, which is perfectly fine. We still see the market doing this, but because we have that break to the downside, I can assure you that the market probably is now going to go down. So I will focus on sells. Oh, I'm sorry, your phone died. I was just explaining, but you were here yesterday, so I was just explaining how whether you're going to buy or sell, you want to look for what the market structure is, and then you want to see when the market breaks structure. Pocket option is freezing today. And then we can see that's exactly what's happening here. It was consolidating, it broke structure, meaning that it went lower than the previous low, and now the market is continuing to sell. That's exactly what we look for. So had we taken that trade idea above 0.27 for sell, we would be in profit. So I really hope that's making sense. Right? Because again, no matter what style of trading you're doing, you don't need a bunch of indicators on your chart. You just really need to understand. I'm just put you on mute. You don't need a bunch of indicators on your chart. You just really need to understand what is happening. So here we can see the market broke structure and it created a new low. So all we're going to do is move our horizontal line down, right? And now we have a new trade opportunity, right? Once the market gets to 992 or lower, that could be a potential area for a buy. Why is that? Simply because we see that the market is starting to form equal lows. we know that it's having a hard time getting past this point. So if that's the case, once it pushes past this number, right, which will be the number at the end of your horizontal line, you can take it for a buy. Or if it revisits this area, you could get in for a sell. So now we just wait. And remember, y'all, you also have the option to set pending orders on pocket option as well. So you can see a bunch of different support and resistance points, and you can set up your trades to play out throughout the night. Or you may be trading and cooking dinner at the same time. That's something that I'll frequently do. So I'll do my markups, then I'll come to pending trades. And this is a really neat trick that I love, that I learned. And I'll just say, okay, I want to trade by the asset price. I know that I want to trade Euro USD. I know that when the market gets to 106,992 and it's at least 70%, right? We're just talking out loud, building our trade. I want to stay in this trade for 1 minute and I want to risk $100. And then we're going to click buy. So now this pending trade is going to go to our current pending trades that are open. So once the market gets to that price point that we set, which is here, the number that we see here, 106.992, I'm automatically going to be entered into that trade without having to do anything else, right? So you can set up a bunch of different trades. And like I said, go about your business, go cook dinner, go wash your hair, and go do whatever. So we just have to wait now. Trading is a waiting game. We're basically trading off of liquidity, y'all. If we see wicks, we're going to take that potential trade idea. Now, let me just take this off the chart. Now, just how we use these indicators for Forex, you can use the same indicators for HFX to give you an even more clearer entry, right? Oh, it's getting to our entry point, y'all. So if you take the trade, please let me know. But you can use indicators that can help you determine whether you should buy or sell because it just gets more clearer. So the indicators I'm going to use is going to be the moving average. I'm going to click the indicators tab. I'm going to click moving average twice because I want to put 2 of them on my chart. Okay, now it's below what I said, which is below 992. Oh, it should have triggered by itself, actually. It triggered by itself. So we're going to, for our moving average indicator, we're going to click the pencil to edit the settings. We're going to change one of them to 50. One of them is always going to be 50. We're going to change from SMA to EMA because we don't want it to be a smooth moving average. We want it to be an exponential moving average. And we're just going to change the style to blue and the pixels to 3. And I'm going to click OK. And we're going to do the same thing for the second moving average. But we're going to make this one a 200. So basically, we're just making a 200 EMA and a 50 EMA. We're going to make that a 200. We're going to click EMA. We're going to change it to purple and change the pixels to 3. So now your chart should look something like this. So just how what we discussed on Monday and last week, if the candles are above the EMAs, you're going to want to focus on buys. The only exception to this is if you see equal highs starting to form. And if the candles are under the EMAs, you're going to want to focus on sells, right? If they're above the EMAs, let me delete this. If they're above the EMAs, focus on buys. If they're below the EMAs, focus on sells, right? It's no need to, especially because you're making money so fast. If you're in these trades, let's just say we were using that rule above the EMA, buys, below the EMA sell. You could have cleared all of these trades right here. That would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades, right? And if you're using the $10 risk, that would have been $60, right? If you were using the rule down here, you could have cleared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades. And if you're using the $10 risk, that could have been $50, right? And I'll just go back in the past and scroll just so that you can see when the candles are above the EMA, you'll just notice more blue candles. When the candles are below the EMA, you'll notice more red candles. And it just gives you a rule and a guide to follow, right? So here we see the candle falling under the EMA. It looks like it may continue to sell, right? So let's just see. I think it's going to continue to sell. And let me tell you guys some tips about the EMAs as well, because again, like we just was trading, you can trade strictly off of price action, or you can use the EMAs to verify your trades. It looks like this trade is going to be a loss, but that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. So some tricks about the EMAs that you want to remember: the further the EMAs are apart, right? The further the EMAs are apart, the stronger the trend. The closer they are together, the weaker the trend, right? So as we can see right here, the EMAs were very, very, very far apart. The selling trend was very, very, very strong, right? Here we can see the EMAs are close together. They're closer together. The trend is weak. It's consolidation. If you guys see that, just drop some sevens in the chat. Right? It's just something small to notice. Okay, awesome. So now, if we were trading this in real time, right? You wanted to take this trade, you could say, I see equal highs right here, right? So I'm going to put a line right here. And once the market gets to 972 or higher, you could potentially sell right there. And we're selling there because this was a previous area of resistance. Likewise, you can buy right here because we have these equal lows, or you can wait for it to push down and you can buy right here. So let's just see what happens, right? All right, good. This really don't have to be hard. You just have to not be impulsive and know what you're looking at. There's so many instances on this chart. Like, and I just like to always just scroll back slowly so that you can see whenever you have those equal highs, it's gonna sell. Like it's really a no-brainer. Equal highs, sell, right? Equal highs, sell, right? And this is not Forex, this is HFX. So wherever you see those equal highs at, it's going to be an indication to sell. Equal highs, sell, right? Just how you see equal lows, it's going to be a buy, right? We got all these equal lows, we got buys, we got equal lows, we got buys, we got equal lows, we got buys, right? Equal lows, buys, right? The more you understand what you're seeing on the chart, the easier it becomes. So again, we have equal lows, right? So we could say that once we get below, sorry, I'm trying to find what the exact number is. We could say once we get below this point, 892, we can get in for a potential buy because we can clearly see those lows right there. Or you can wait for it to drop lower at 824. That'll be up to you. And then again, you have a potential sell opportunity here. Right now, HFX is so much more rewarding than Forex sometimes because you do get to see your profits instantly. But if you know you can make that money that quick, that's why it's important for you to be more accurate, right? Like, why go in there and lose $300 when you could just take an extra 2 seconds, analyze your charts, put some horizontal lines on there, and see what happens from there. So again, you could potentially buy here, right? Or you can wait for the break of structure to see if it's going to continue to sell. And it's looking like it might. Let's see. Okay, it's being supported. Right? But if this makes sense, it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. I'm really not going to talk you guys to death today. If it makes sense, just drop an MS in the chat. All right, awesome. Awesome. It should get clearer. You should really just use this to practice. I am going to send you guys this video, and I'm going to send a video from yesterday as well. I just didn't want to send so many emails. But that's just going to be the main way that I communicate with y'all, just so that it's easier for you to search and find something if you need it. But yeah, I just really wanted to come in here, give you guys an update on pocket option because it's nothing anybody could say about pocket option now, since their biggest complaint before was there's no rollover. right? I've never had any money with making withdrawals from Pocket Option. I've never had any money with making deposits with Pocket Option. Just like with any platform that you're using or trading cryptocurrency, you have to verify your identity on Pocket Option before you are able to make withdrawals. I know some people have ran into that issue. They didn't go through the full process to upload their ID. Therefore, when it was time to make a withdrawal, the process took a little bit slower. And because you can't have such a big a positive turnover in trading for the day, the more money that you withdraw from the market, the slower the withdrawal may be, but the money will come. The longest it's taken money to come for me was about 4 hours. But that was a deposit that was over $600. So the more money you withdraw, the longer it may take. And the more you trade, the quicker it becomes, honestly. So again, we just have these last two trade ideas. We just gonna wait and see what happens. Either buy at 892 or lower, unless the market breaks structure, it'll continue to sell, or sell at 970 or higher. And we can even move this up a little bit. And I'll drop it in the chat, right? 892. I haven't done that in so long. I should probably get back to doing live sessions, right, y'all? 892 or lower buy, 970 or higher sell, right? So those would be our last two ideas for the night. I didn't want you guys to practice this. I didn't want you guys to screenshot and send your results. I do want you guys to ask me questions, and remember that trade breakdowns are a part of your mentorship plan. So if you're practicing Forex, you get into a trade, whether it hits TP or stop loss, and you want to understand why that happened in the trade, reach out to me. If you're trading HFX and you're on a winning streak or losing streak, but you still want to understand why, okay, this looked like it was a break of structure, so this trade may actually continue to sell. But because this is a demo, we're going to see what happens, right? It got lower than 892, right? So 892 or lower, I got in for a buy, but the market did break structure, so it could continue to sell. And this is why I like using a demo account, so you guys can see exactly what I mean when I say break of structure, right? You don't have to risk your real money. You can practice in your demo and then take the real trade. So this is a demo. Let's just say this trade doesn't go in our favor, which is looking like it wants to continue to sell, which is fine. We knew that was a high probability. Yeah, we definitely have fun on the live sessions. All right, so this trade is a sell. I'm perfectly okay with that. And again, I'm just going to explain to you why this trade is not going to be a clear, even though it got in for a buy. We see that the market has some consolidation here. We see that the market broke structure on the downside and it continued to sell. So I took a buy because it was a previous area of support. However, that price was no longer supported. Price broke structure, right? And it's continuing to sell. Where's price headed? Now it's headed here. So if the market gets to this point, right, that will be a potential area to buy. However, because the candles will now be under both EMAs, I will probably focus on the sell. We can see that this sell momentum is really picking up. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you today. I don't really want to continue to repeat myself because that'll just get confusing. But if you do have any questions at this time, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions, or you can drop them in the chat and I will review anything that you need clarity on. So I'll give you guys about 20 seconds to ask your questions. All right, so no questions. That's perfect. I'm also do want to tell you guys that I am for the mentorship program, I am going to be dropping some new things. So I'm going to be adding something called a buddy pass. So whatever package that you currently have, you can extend that to somebody else for the duration of your mentorship, and they will get those same benefits. I'm also going to be releasing a loyalty program as well, and you get different loyalty points that will get you different prizes essentially. So let's just say you'll get points just for attending the session. You'll get points for answering questions in the session. You'll get points for commenting on YouTube videos and for sharing the content on Instagram. So let's just say if you guys share your session today or share results from your session, that'll be 5 loyalty points. The loyalty points can turn into dollars. So 15 points will be another free session outside of what's included in your mentorship plan. 33 points will be a free month of mentorship. It'll just be stuff like that. Once you get to a certain amount of points, you may be able to get deposits on your actual account. I love giving out money. If you remember from the past, I'm always having contests like that. So it's optional, but it's just a way to spread the message of what we're doing here to really educate people. This is not network marketing. It's simply referring people to education and getting more people involved. So if you did just want to post on Instagram today, like, hey, this is what I did, this is what my results were, I'll just start to add your points on your account. But that's all. Yep, it's pretty nice. Just trying to keep people engaged, happy, and making money. But good night, y'all, and I will see y'all Sunday for our next Forex session. It's been real.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.